All right, so I'm here with Rudy, the athletic trainer at PCC. My first question for you is, did you understand and know your focus when you were pursuing a career? If not, how did you find yourself where you currently are?
No, I did not know how to get into athletic training when I first started. I was at Long Beach State for about 2.5 years before I started running out of GEs, and my counselor told me that it was time to declare a major because I wasn't declared at the time. Mm-hmm. And when she told me that, I had to go down, and she told me to go take a personality test down at the Career Center. So literally I sat there for about 30 minutes, answered about 100 questions, and it popped out all kinds of jobs that fit your personality. And the top 10, I saw athletic training, and I had no idea what athletic training was about. So I went to go check it out, and it turned out that's how I got into it. I always loved sports. I always loved medicine, and the combination two was perfect. I didn't want to be a PT because I didn't want to be inside a clinic all day. I like interacting with all the sports, and I had no idea that this was a possibility. So at the time, I checked it out. I went to go talk to some people in the kinesiology department, and that's how I really started with my career. It was kind of funny.
All right. Now, after you finally figured out your career, how hard would you say the schooling was? How expensive was it?
It was pretty tough. I mean, the good thing is I was taking a lot of science classes at the time, so I already had that part of it done. I had to go back and take a couple of more sciences that wasn't combined. I was doing that combination. Like, for example, anatomy, physiology, they offered it as a combined class. So I had to separate those two and I had to retake anatomy and I had to retake physiology on their own. I took chemistry actually here. I took it in the summer class, knocked that out, and then I went back and took biology and also took, what did I take? Got biology, chemistry, and then I started taking biomechanics, exercise phys, then motor learning, then motor development, and then I started getting into my athletic training classes.
Okay, so you kind of tested and found your way into this career. Would this be a career you say you have to be passionate about to achieve and fulfill in this?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, if it's not like how can I put it? I compare this a lot to, well, it's all health industry people, professionals. You just can't go into nursing because you think it's cool. You can't be a doctor because you think it's cool. You get burned out too quickly. When I first started this career, I really enjoyed, and I still do enjoy, coming to work and dealing with athletes and solving problems with their injuries and finding out new ways to rehab them and try to get them back on the field as fast as possible. So for me, I tell my students who are interested, don't take this lightly. I always also tell them is go do an internship. That way you know if you really like this field. And I tell them anything. I mean, if you want to be a PT, go to a PT clinic. Go in and volunteer some hours and see if that's your niche there. Because if you don't, you're going to get stuck 10 years later, and then now what? Go back to school and do another 3 years before you get another degree?
Yeah.
Kind of tough.
So after working here for quite some time, I think, have you ever considered either working anywhere else or taking the education that you have now and applying it, maybe not to a different field, but maybe working one-on-one as far as...
Like on the private sector?
Right, yeah, exactly.
I dabbled in that. On my spare time, I have a couple of MMA fighters because I'm also a strength conditioning coach. So I also volunteer my time with some MMA fighters, and I develop strength conditioning programs with them. The funny thing is I do that on my spare time for free because I use that as my lab.
Right.
And I take that, whatever I get out of that.
People are just out there looking for jobs that either get a kinesiology degree or certifications, depending on, or is there positions with companies, universities, stuff like that, or do you see it more like people have to go into the private sector first to try and make a little bit of money, get some experience, and then maybe transition it into working for a company or university?
With athletic training, when I first started, it was slim pickings, and you were really lucky to get a job.
Okay.
nowadays we expanded so far into so many different realms that it's really, you really have to decide where you want to go. And what the problem is, most people want to get into a junior college or a community college, because most people who get a community college job don't leave.
Right.
I mean,
okay.
I've known people in this business and at this level that actually retire and they've been in it for like 30, 40 years. You know, the hours are great, you don't travel as much, you know, the pension is great. You go university professional, there's higher rates of burnout. And people get tired, and it's not job security. They can fire you anytime they want. Private sector, we're finding out that big corporations are starting to hire us for injury prevention.
Okay.
It started with UPS and FedEx and IBM. And when they first started hiring athletic trainers, their rate of injury started coming down because they were taken care of in-house. So they figured if you could get somebody in a room, give them some equipment, give them some rehab program, the cost of health comes down, because literally someone that's going to be out for a month, you get them back in a week or two,
Right.
back on their job. So
Yeah.
now you just save hundreds of $1,000s
Yeah.
of workers' comp.
Yeah, that
And
makes
it's
sense.
great.